back to what I said. People who live in glass houses shouldn't throw stones. All right, because I've heard people say, "Oh, well, it's the deep state's fault." No, it's the liberals' fault. I mean, yeah, it's the liberals' fault. What's going on in this country? But how about you take a look at yourselves and say, "Hmm, maybe I'm part of the problem too. Maybe I'm the common denominator here." But your egos won't allow you. Won't al- they? Your egos won't allow you to admit that you're wrong. You see, you're stuck in this right versus left paradigm, and you think that's the way to go. The Democrats, they say, oh, a vote for the Libertarian Party is a vote for the Republican Party. While the Republicans say, oh, a vote for the Libertarian Party is a vote for the Democratic Party. Y'all talking out of your fucking asses. That's what you're doing. And of course, you got big YouTubers talking out of their freaking asses, talking both sides of their freaking mouth, talking shit, all of that. Let me tell you something. It's one thing to be armed with a gun, but it's another point and shoot your gun. I'm not talking about target practice. I'm talking about when it counts. Could be some burglar trying to get in your home, was already in your home, intruder or whatever, threatens your life, threatens your family's lives. But what about when shit hits the fan? Hmm? What happens when the cops point their guns at you and they act outside of their oaths? Hmm? What about that? Who do you think is gonna enforce, follow gun confiscation orders? Who do you think it's gonna be? The cops, and whoever else who enforces the laws. Hmm. Like the British, they were they were during the time of the American Revolutionary War, they were nothing more than British law enforcers. You see, all these people say, well, why don't we just use the Second Amendment for its intended purposes? Or saying the same old quotes, when tyranny becomes law, rebellion becomes duty. And then, of course, you got all these people who, uh, who got pissed off at the Uvalde shooting, saying, all these parents say, oh, I would have done something about it. Really, really, you would have done something about it. You know, when people say that, you think that you're all about your grit, but you're not. You're not. Everybody says that they're all about it, but they're not in the end. So anybody can say, oh, it's the deep state's fault. It's the liberals' fault. Yes, it's the liberals' fault, but really, you're throwing stones in a glass house. How about you look at yourselves in the mirror? Instead of saying things like this, the same old generic bullshit, well, how about you stop dividing us? How about you stop dividing us, Red? How am I dividing you or dividing this country? How? I want to know. I want to know. How am I dividing this country? Because I speak the truth? Because I believe the same people, you know who I'm talking about, the same people just saying the most asinine things with their Civil War remarks. Oh, the world is coming to an end. Get your bottles of water for $12.99 or $5.99. The world is about to come to an end. You're fear mongering. And what did you do at the start or during the coronavirus pandemic? You got so sick and tired of the liberals fear mongering. Well, I don't want to wear a mask. I don't want to get the jab, all that kind of stuff. Which I respect that. I do. But look what you're doing right now, especially with the whole Russia versus Ukraine, uh, versus Ukraine bullshit. You're fear mongering. Oh, World War III. It's going to be nuclear war, y'all. It's going to be nuclear war. Get your knives and your survival kits and first aid kits. Get this zombie machete. It's going to be the zombie apocalypse. You got these preppers believing that the zombie apocalypse is on the horizon. Man, you guys are, oh my gosh, that's some bullshit if you ask me. You know, people say, there's people saying, no, the liberals, they are the problem. The liberals say in response and say that the conservatives, they are the problem. You know what I believe? I believe that conservatives and liberals, you're all part of the problem. You all of you, you're all part of the problem. What do? You say, vote harder. Don't tread on me. My body, my choice. And as far as the liberals saying, oh, women have the right to get an abortion. Well, gee, I reread I read the Constitution a month ago, and nowhere does it say anything that someone has a right to get an abortion. It said nothing of the sort. Mm-mm-mm. You know what gets me? While all these so-called patriots and preppers, they say, when tyranny becomes law, rebellion becomes duty. You realize that you're going to have to start civil war. It's not going to be the government. I guarantee you that. Vote harder. But you got to pick and choose the lesser of two evils. Well, guess what? You still perpetuate evil. And thus you perpetuate the definition of insanity. Every time the politicians or whoever else violates your rights, what do? You redraw another line. Thus you enable and embolden them to do it all over again, to violate your rights all over again, over again. It's a vicious cycle. Have you heard the phrase? It's from a movie called The Rock. Patriotism is the virtue of the vicious, and you are seeing it today.